What is up, guys? Back again another day at Whitley Autoworks. As promised, I have got my resin in, as you can see behind me, in those two jugs. So I got plenty of resin now to do some more carbon fiber stuff. And if you can also see behind me, the hood scoop is off and there it is on the table. So let me walk you through how to do carbon. Okay, so first off, you have to take your piece off. As you can see, we are doing the hood scoop on my Mazda Speed 3 today. So first step before you do anything is to sand it down, scuff it, because if you don't, the epoxy won't stick. Luckily enough, this piece is actually black, so that makes it easier. The carbon is actually a transparent material. I'll show you in a few minutes. But the cool thing about this is, since it's already black, once you scuff it down and put the resin on, it's going to pretty much look all glossy like this, which I'll show you in a few. But yeah, that's pretty much the first step. Let me go ahead and get it sanded down and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got it all sanded down with 220, scratched up really good so that the resin will stick. And I got my wax and grease remover right here. I'm going to wipe it down and clean it up real good. That way there'll be no contaminants on it whatsoever and the resin will adhere properly. Let's wipe it down and we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so when you're doing carbon fiber work, there's a couple of things I want to point out. First, carbon fiber is actually a weave fabric. So it's transparent, so any color you have on the backside might possibly bleed through, and you'll see that. So most people say when you're doing carbon fiber to always put like some mica powder or something in the resin if the part's not already black, to pretty much give the epoxy a black coat. Like I said, fortunately for me, with this part's already black, so when I put the epoxy on, it's just going to make it look like a wet black part. But yeah, you can use powders to tint your base or whatever else to get the desired effect. And obviously, if you do some research on Google, there are different kinds of carbon fiber, different weave patterns, and different colors even. You can get purple, red, blue, gold, you know, like Kevlar look. The possibilities are pretty much endless. The resin I got back here is some crystal clear resin. It mixes 1-to-1. You basically just put, I get 2 little small cups. I'll show you over here. I get these little cups right here. Basically, I just put as much resin in 1 cup as I do the other cup for hardener, and then mix them together, and that works great. That's pretty much it with this step. Next, we're going to roll out the carbon and cut it to length, and I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as this material being transparent. Alright guys, so this is genuinely real carbon fiber. And let's see, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good look on it for you, but if you can tell, probably not, but you see the light coming through it? That's, like I said, it's pretty much transparent. So the next step is going to be to take our piece over there, lay it on the material, and cut everything to size. And when you're cutting it, this, like I said, this material is weaved together. So you want to put a piece of tape on it and wherever you're going to cut it. That way the edges don't fray and it starts to come apart on you. And basically just size it appropriately. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you when I get done. Alright guys, so I'm going to try and set it up so you can actually see what I'm doing with this. Basically, I got to roll this out. I'm going to use some tape, and I'm going to tape the ends, and I'm going to cut it to size. So you'll see me set everything on, and it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. But like I said, I'll walk you through it and let you know. Alright guys, so to get a better angle, I want you to kind of be able to see a little bit more what I see. So obviously this is the part. Alright, so I got the part here, and then this is my carbon. So basically I lay it over, and see how I got plenty of overlap? That's what you want. So basically when you wet the part out, you're going to wet the part out first, let it sit for about 3 hours, and then you're going to lay the carbon material on top of it and kind of work it as if you're wrapping it. It's the same kind of concept, and that's pretty much what we're going to do. So for now, I've got to start mixing up some resin. You also, like I said, mix the resin 1-to-1. Try to get as accurate. Scales would help. I don't have scales. I'm doing this on the fly because I've done it a couple times and I've gotten pretty good at it so far. And then you can also use a heat gun to basically pop the air bubbles, because you're going to have a lot of air bubbles when you mix everything together. So basically what you want to do is you want to put the resin on, and then you want to go back with a heat gun and you want to run over the part a couple times, and you'll see those air bubbles just pop, and they'll leave you with a glassy surface, and then let it tack up. And after about 3 hours, we'll come back and I'll show you what to kind of look for with the resin. And we'll lay the carbon on and we'll do the next step. Alright guys, so we're all laid up and ready to go. As you can tell, there is my hardener and my epoxy resin. I've got cups. I've got little foam brushes. You can use paint brushes as well. I just choose foam brushes because there's no risk of little hairs from the brush coming out. And it's a smaller jug of resin that I have. Like I said, A, B, 1-to-1. It's the same mess. And there's some stir sticks, as well as scissors and tape for where I cut the carbon. So next step is to mix up the epoxy and put it on. Also be sure to have gloves. This stuff is sticky, no joke. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got my gloves on, hardener, epoxy resin, 2 little cups. I'm going to mix them equally and then mix them together. Alright, we are mixing them. Now you want to mix these good for about a minute or two. You want to make sure you get everything consistent, because the last thing you want is a part of the resin and everything that's not actually drying consistently because it didn't have enough hardener in it. So basically stir, 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 and stir some more. And like I said, see how it's got a lot of air bubbles in it now? It's like a milky color. That's normal. Because next what we're going to do is hit it a little bit with the heat gun while it's in the cup. And also, we're going to hit the part itself with the heat gun after we mix everything up and put it on good. So that's what you want. You want a very milky texture, very milky consistency. Ooh. And then hit it a little bit with the heat gun. And like I said, that's going to pop a few of the air bubbles. Not all of them. That just kind of gets it started. And then we're going to put it on the part. Got the foam brush, and it's time to apply. This is the fun part. And you want to make sure you get everything very good, because if you don't, it ain't gonna stick. Alright guys, so after working it a little bit with the heat gun and putting the resin on, this is what you should have. A pretty slick surface of resin. Now we're going to wait about 3 hours for this to tack up really good. Basically I don't have my gloves on right now, but what you're looking for is when you touch it, you want it to not pull off any kind of resin, but to leave a fingerprint. So in about 3 hours we'll come back and we'll check on it. It'll be just a minute for you guys, but for me I got a little bit of wait. But anyways, we'll check on it, and when it's ready I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so the point we're at now, I have laid the carbon down and I have wetted it out. Now as you can see, I had to do it in 2 pieces. That's why I got frayed edges the way I do. Kind of hard for the camera to focus. But after this first layer of carbon hardens up, I'm going to trim the edges off and lay the next layer of epoxy, and you'll never see that. So let's wait for this to cure. Probably going to be 24 hours and we'll be back at it. Alright guys, so as you can see at this point we have the resin on. This is the second coat of resin. What I did was I got everything wrapped on it and I tucked it under, which I'll show you later on. And then I actually let it sit for a few, and then I put what they call, I wetted it out. Basically you mix another cup of resin and you dab it on it. So basically what we do now is wait about 3 hours between coats. This resin's got like a 24-hour cure time. So you got 2 ways you could go about this. The whole point of this is to build up layers of resin, And once you get it built up enough, you can sand it down, level it out, put a final coat of resin, wet sand that, and then you'll be ready for clear coat, because you want to get the surface pretty much level like glass. Because right now you got hills and bumps and everything in it. Right now, in some layers it's drier than others. Let me see if I can show you real quick. I don't know if you can see, but there's like dry spots. See right there on that edge? Those are areas where basically the part isn't 100% level, and there's areas where the carbon is soaked more than others, and basically you have to build the epoxy up in layers. That way you can sand it down and get everything even. You can do it layer by layer, or I prefer to wait 3 hours, put a coat of resin on, wait 3 hours, put a coat of resin on. Basically you pretty much wait till the tack time is up, and then you can actually go back and put another coat on. And I prefer to build it all up at one time, sand it down, put a final coat, and be done with it. Some people do it layer by layer. It's really a preference thing, so you can do it any way you want to. Main thing is, like I said, just build the coats up. Don't sand down all the way to the carbon, and you just basically want to get it level, get it like glass, and then put a final coat of resin on it, wet sand it. You can polish it out, or you can put a coat of clear on it. So at this point, I'm going to build up the resin layers. I'm going to get everything sanded really good, and I'll get back with you when we're ready to clear coat it. Alright guys, so real quick before we move on to clear coat, this is mid stage. I still have another coat or two of resin I might do, but if you see right there, anywhere that it doesn't touch when you use your sandpaper to sand it, that's your low spot. So you want to kind of get that out, but you also want to watch, because you don't want to sand through the carbon. If you can see right there, see I'm getting kind of close to it because it's kind of raised. Basically you want to fill all that in, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about the sanding and watching out. And you just kind of want to keep leveling everything out with sandpaper. I'm using 220 right now. Used 80 to kind of hit the sides and get some of the sprags off. But yep, I'm gonna put another coat of resin on it, and we're ready to clear, and I get everything sanded right. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a little bored and decided I'm gonna do the tow hook cover too. Had extra resin, had extra carbon. Can't go wrong with more carbon pieces. Dripping resin, just how we like it. It's gonna look good. Alright guys, so got everything sanded down. About to mix up some Master Pro clear coat and spray it on. And as soon as I get done, I'll show you the final product. Let's get it. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this build series. It's really easy to do carbon fiber skinning as long as you have the patience to do it. It does take a couple of days from start to finish, but as you can see, the end product, if you take your time and really work hard on it, is very much worth it. I appreciate you guys sticking around for it, and like I said, you can do all kinds of stuff from cups to anything plastic, metal. You can wrap it in carbon fiber and create your own custom look. So I definitely suggest, if you got the patience, if you got the time, try it. Try it. Pick you a color, look on eBay, look on Google, see what they got, and just experiment. But I appreciate everybody sticking around this far, and I hope y'all like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the part, and there's plenty more to come. I'll see you guys on the next video.